Hi guys. Gonna do another one of these. It's going pretty well and I'm enjoying it and I'm thinking of books. And so, maybe every day for a while until I, run out of brainstormed ideas for these. So this morning, I'm going to share one of the books that was actually one of my grandfather's books. Um, it's about gardening, and I thought that in February all the gardeners are sort of fiending to get out and planning things for March and whatnot. So anyway, he grew peppers. But this was one of his favorite books, and I'm hoping you could still find it in print. I should have checked on that already, but hopefully at least interlibrary loan or something you can find this. So it's Green Thoughts: A Writer in the Garden by Eleanor Perenyi. And these things are just lovely. This is little blips about everything in the garden. So there's one very short called Mazes, and it says, "Should you ever find yourself lost in one, choose either the right or left wall and follow its every turning. You can't fail to emerge." So it's just funny little blips. And I think, let's check the copyright, because it's got a bit of an old-fashioned feel, but it's just lovely. Yeah, so 1918. So kind of keep that in mind while you're reading, but it's just so good. Okay. So I'm going to read to you Night. A garden, however familiar, is another place on a summer night. And I don't mean those changes wrought by stage designers with moonlight and veils. Nothing operatic. There are, to begin with, peculiar noises, faint rustlings whose source may be revealed by a flashlight picking up a pair of frozen green eyes, or the drumming of katydids, or a sound that occurs in August in a corner of my garden and is answered in the one across the street. In both places, someone seems to be hard at work on a typewriter. Clackety, clackety, clack. Answer. Clackety, clack. What on earth are they? Not locusts or cicadas, which have a different sound. The most bizarre and least likely explanation yet offered me is that they are raccoons. Raccoons? Well, said the man who told me this, that's why my cousin, who owns the garage out on Route 1, says, and they're all over the back of his place. Why not, when you come to think of it? Perhaps in lieu of the chimpanzees who one day will write Hamlet if the laws of probability are allowed to operate long enough, raccoons are hammering away at the theory of the leisure class somewhere in my shrubbery. Scents are stronger at night. Everybody knows that, but not that they are also different. Faint whiffs of sweetness in nicotiana and clethra acquire a dose of pepper after midnight, when, on the other hand, the carnations at their most powerful at dusk seem to go to sleep and stop smelling. But the biggest change is that of proportion and texture produced by seeing things in black and white. My first experience of this phenomenon wasn't in a garden or at night, but in Rome, in broad daylight, in the company of a friend who was colorblind. I had always known this about him and never grasped the significance until the day I stupidly said something about the apricot glow of Roman palaces. You forget, he said gently. I don't see that. I don't know what you mean. The words were more than an embarrassment. They were a revelation, for he was the subtlest of observers, who had often pointed out to me details and refinements in paintings and architecture and even plants, which, blinded in my own way by color, I had missed. Thereafter I observed things with different and in some ways better informed eyes, and I haven't forgotten the lesson. To see things in black and white is to see the basics, and I would now recommend to any designer of gardens that he go out and look at his work by the light of the moon. He may well see that a certain bush is too large for the space it occupies, another too small, that the placement of a flower bed needs adjusting. Above all, he will be more conscious of the importance of form. Strolling among the ruins on the Palatine, my colorblind friend had again and again identified the wild flowers growing there by their shapes, pointing out to me especially the beauty of the acanthus, so loved by the Greeks. They made it the capital of the Corinthian order, and reminding me that Pliny made beds of acanthus alone, not for the flowers, but for the leaves. The Impressionists saw nature as color swimming in light, but in most of the world's great gardens, color has counted for very little. Masses of brilliant shrubs and flowers are a modern idea and not necessarily a good one. Subtract the color from a garden and it can prove to be an ill-planned scramble. One way to find out is to walk around it on a summer night. But not pleased with the aid of floodlights. No matter how skillfully carried out, I abhor the introduction of electricity into a garden. Lighted pools, false downs among the shrubs are to me both ugly and vulgar. No, I don't like sonnet lumiere either. The Parthenon bathed in lavender is a horrid sight. A path or driveway may need to be discreetly lighted to keep people from breaking their necks, and hurricane lamps on a terrace where one is dining are more than permissible. I love an old-fashioned Japanese paper lantern stuck with a candle and hung in a tree like a moon. A spotlight trained on a fountain? No. A garden at night should be itself, a place at rest, a haven for creatures, and for me too, when I want to lie in the hammock in the dark. Take care.